UAB on offense first. We'll take a look at the Blazers starting five. Jabari McGee from junior college to the Blazers. Opens up with a miss. Second chance for UAB. Good hustle play.
And tonight we see Coach Kennedy electing to start with sort of a two-headed point guard deal here. You see typical teams, they start with just sort of a traditional guy, and they'll have a bigger guy at the two position. Tonight, Tyron Moore getting started at the two.
You were talking about Christian Coleman in the opening. That was him on that second chance. Lendeborg opens up with a medium-range jump shot, which is allowed, by the way. Maybe not by the Red Wolves. There are people telling us it's either layups or threes. They get underneath this time. And an easy basket for Isaiah Nelson at 6'10".
That time Christian Coleman got hung up on a little bit of a back screen there, allowing Nelson to float freely to the rim.
Most recently, the games that Mo Finley, you and I have done, UAB has gotten off to a slow start, and they've had to try to crawl back every time in every home game. It's not been a successful formula. Basket by the Red Wolves. Taryn Todd.
That time Taryn Todd moving well without the basketball. Arkansas State does a great job of utilizing the backdoor cuts. They're looking for layups. They're looking for open three-point attempts. They're not going to force a ton of mid-range jump shots. We see here UAB try to attack the rim.
Three-pointer from the corner. Yes!
And those are the open ones you have to make if you're UAB. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities because Arkansas State is such a good defensive rebounding basketball team. That time Moore found himself wide open.
And the three ball, for the most part, elusive for UAB this year, falls for Tyron Moore. One-on-one in the paint, and then a floater, no good. Second chance, missed. And then a whistle. Isaiah Nelson had a shot. He missed. And it will be Lendeborg picking up an early foul.
And we're 2 minutes in. Yaxel Lendeborg cannot afford foul trouble here this evening. Blazers not especially deep on the interior as Aguero gets quality minutes. Will Shaver, we've seen him lately playing a few minutes here and there, but for the most part, Yaxel Lendeborg, Christian Coleman, they eat up most of the minutes at the 4 and 5 position. And today, Lendeborg, he'll have to do a good job of staying out of foul trouble because Arkansas State, they're going to have a ton of pick-and-roll opportunities where UAB does a good job of switching it. Guards aren't going to necessarily look inside. They're going to look to attack those bigs out there on the perimeter.
Tied at 5 early. Jabari McGee fires it up. Here comes a three from Tony. No good. Air ball. Had a good look. Now the Red Wolves get a floater off the glass by Taryn Todd. Shielded his man and then used the left.
That time Todd able to catch UAB in a defensive scramble of sorts in transition.
Yaks for three, short. Here's an open three for the Red Wolves. Did not go, and most active guy in the court is Isaiah Nelson. Keeps it alive, and then Todd, a three, won't go. And then another chance, and now stolen and fouled. Tyron Moore fouled in the backcourt.
And we're 3 minutes in, and we talk about the rebounding edge that Arkansas State typically has over teams. Both teams coming to this game averaging about 41 rebounds per game. UAB giving up multiple offensive rebounds here early.
Christian Coleman. Highlighted him in the opening, put the ball on the floor. A turnover on Coleman. Well, actually, he'll pick up a foul, not a turnover.
That time, Christian Coleman looking to attack Nelson off the dribble. And Coleman has those capabilities. But against Arkansas State here, they're really good in the half court defensively. You've got to find a way to move the basketball, get those guys moving, to give you opportunities to attack off the dribble.
That was a lost possession for UAB. No doubt. Here's Feltz.
Weak side cutters every single time the ball touches the paint. That time Arkansas State.
Kobe Julian with the attack. Lindeborg did not want that second foul.
And that smart decision. Sometimes you have to live to fight another play. That time Julian was able to get inside of Lindeborg there. The weak side action preventing the Blazers from helping and digging in there that time.
Lindeborg still making some moves. No foul.
That time Nelson really good defensively there on the interior. Did not take any of the fakes. Lindeborg has a little bit of a girth advantage there, but Nelson there, great job of staying vertical, staying down, not giving Lindeborg a lot of opportunity, a lot of space to get up with his shot attempt around the rim.
9 to shoot. Butter Johnson, who had checked in, finds Coleman. Lindeborg. McGee. Wing shot, 3. Bingo.
For McGee, if he's able to come out tonight and make three-point jump shots, keep the Wolves defense honest by taking those jump shots, that gives UAB an added offensive player to attack.
And then add 2 more for Isaiah Nelson. He had the height advantage inside there at 6'10".
He is active early. UAB electing to switch. That time, McGee not quite able to switch out with a bigger UAB player.
Tyron Moore. There's Yaks for 3 from the wing. Yes!
And those shots will be there tonight for Yaks and Lindeborg. And my guess, Christian Coleman will have opportunities to take perimeter jump shots as well, as we see another switch here by McGee.
Foul from behind, plus the basket. So action personified with Arkansas State. They're going to get a free at the free throw line. And again, trying for the conventional three-point play. Crowd very active. Julian with 5. Good sign for UAB, Mo Finley. They've hit 3 from behind the arc. In fact, 3 out of 5.
But they've done a great job making shots so far, but they haven't defended the paint exceptionally well yet tonight as they get their first paint basket there from Jackson Lindeborg. Arkansas State 10 points in the paint. And Arkansas State, they did such a good job of moving without the basketball. Whenever the basketball seems to stop moving, backdoor cuts happen from every player.
How about that defensive play by McGee? Lindeborg, McGee, Tyron Moore for 3. Moore with a hot hand. And this is all starting because of UAB's defense.
The defense leading to easy opportunities on the offensive end. That time Moore able to get lost in transition. McGee with a great steal, almost like a defensive back over there with the one-handed interception. He's able to get the break started.
Well, remember, he was an all-state wide receiver in high school at Winfield High, as well as a all-state basketball player.
And now we're seeing a Blazer lineup that has essentially 3 shooters on the perimeter with Vasquez, Moore, and Butter Johnson.
Moore fakes a 3. Butter, step back 3. Put back, no. One more for Lindeborg, no.
That's a tough break there because that basketball sat on the rim for what felt like forever. That's how UAB able to finally get into the offensive rebound column here. This is the ball that you think Christian Coleman is going to dunk back in, but possibly he's worried about offensive goaltending. I don't know. That ball looked dangerously close to being off of an Arkansas State player.
Bradley Azuero checks in defensively, Mo, and UAB seems to be going to a zone.
Well, the pressure so far has bothered Arkansas State. They rushed a little bit. They play up tempo and they play fast. Playing fast and playing rush are 2 different things.
That was a miss by Pinion. Lindeborg. It's Jelly Walker territory where he started there, that logo. Lindeborg hammered by Feltz, and Avery Feltz picks up a foul.
That time Phelps actually bails UAB out. UAB pretty stagnant on offense on that possession. They've had their most success so far this first half when the basketball is moving quickly. Too much dribbling, too much standing around gives Arkansas State a chance to set their defense and get into great help position.
Alejandro Vasquez inbounds to Tyron Moore. Butta, head fake, shot, got it.
And that's what making three-point baskets, that's what it allows. It gives you a chance to show the basketball, pump fake. Defenders have to respect it once you're making a couple. That time Johnson able to step inside and make the mid-range jumper.
Working his way in, Nelson, but the Blazers got their hands on it, causing a turnover. One-on-one defense there. There's Butta. There's Yaks for three. Good job boxing out by Nelson. So Ezuero, who's great on the boards, does not get a chance.
Now UAB elected to switch every ball screen in the middle of the floor. Todd has a chance to attack Ezuero here one-on-one.
Ezuero giving a lot of room and a miss. And then a foul again on Arkansas State. That should be on Pinion. Well, they're going to give it to Julian instead.
I think you have to like the pace so far. You've done a good job of putting some pressure on Arkansas State in the half court with the zone trap. And Arkansas State, very defensive-minded team, has not done a great job of applying ball pressure.
Oh, but Johnson off the curl. And one to try to make it a 4-point play.
And here, just a simple pin down there from Yaxel Lindeborg there to free Butta Johnson for the three ball. But if you're Arkansas State, you have to increase the ball pressure. You're allowing UAB to be comfortable. UAB hasn't done a great job of moving the basketball, but when you're very, very relaxed defensively, even the simple passes from left to right can lead to scoring opportunities, as we see right there with Butta Johnson.
An unconventional 4-point play for Butta Johnson.
And back to the zone press here from the Blazers.
Steal. Coleman looking for the holiday dunk, and he is fouled from behind. Coleman will be heading to the free throw line after fouls by...
Of course, everyone else do that too, nominating him for preseason conference player of the year. I chuckled a little bit when I said that because Yaks has had a solid season so far. He's a double-double machine. But AK's been wanting him to take over a game. And the first half so far, he has shown leadership. He already has 7 points, 2 assists. And that is the kind of player that AK wanted to see out of the tunnel for
for 1 for 2. For 1 for 2. Now there's steal. Coleman was on the deflection. Vasquez tries to finish. Fouled by Julian.
And that's what Coleman does. As the head of that 1-3-1 half-court trap, he's so athletic, so long. He forces Ford to throw a long looping pass, and that gives Vasquez a chance to intercept it. That time Arkansas State Julian not giving up anything easy in transition.
Mo, you and I have done this is the 8th game rather at home. And I think this is the best 9 minutes that UAB has played at home all year. At least stacked up those 9 minutes.
I would agree with you. And I think part of that has been because of the outside shooting that they've been able to come out and off to a pretty hot start. Yaxel Lindeborg 1 for 3 from 3. Not only, he hasn't made all 3 of them options, but him taking them, aggressive, taking shots in rhythm, not turning down opportunities. Butter Johnson coming out, scoring early, like sort of kind of almost, lightening the load offensively for Jackson-Lindenborg and the guys that primarily have to score, him and Christian Coleman. And I think that's contributed to these 9 minutes being, like you mentioned, the best 9 minutes so far this season.
Another double team. Ford with an open three. Coleman to the top of the gym to pull that one down. Ezuero, muscle man, muscles it up, and a little too hard for Bradley. And then off the rim.
And Nelson defensively around the rim, he is not a huge man, but he is very, very good at playing his position, very good at staying vertical, not getting out of position, forcing interior players to make tough shots or tough attempts over the top of him.
Open three because of the dribble and missed again, so the Red Wolves having their difficulties. They're 0 for 6 from outside. They do get a steal. And then an opportunity for a layup. Deflected by Butter Johnson, and a late foul instead.
I would love to see the replay here. I can't wait for it. These fans here behind us do not like the call. And that time, pinging out in transition. Butter Johnson rushing to get back. And that time, I don't see a foul. It looked as if the official anticipated Johnson because he jumped early. Johnson didn't time his jump well. He jumped a little bit early. So I think he was anticipating him coming across his elbow. He did not hit his elbow, or at least it did not appear for him to hit his elbow on that replay.
Joseph Pinion at the free throw line, where he's now 12 for 13 this year.
Right
12
on
for
cue.
14 this year.
Right on cue. Anytime any broadcaster says anything while a guy's at the line.
You like that? On cue. I've taught you that. Nothing else. And the board. Butter. Free throw line in the paint and a layup.
That's a great use of his eyes by Butter Johnson. They're coming off that ball screen, looking backside, just holding the defense for a second. And UAB is able to do that because they've been able to make outside shots.
Oh, Lindenborg able to avoid the foul. And Arkansas State left 2 points at the rim. Wide open Butter. Here's a three. No.
And even that one, I think that's a good miss because that shot is one that Butter Johnson has to be able to take and make.
Steal. Boy, Arkansas State scuffling from the floor. They haven't hit a three, which is their game. They're 0 for 6. And they have missed a couple of bunnies. They should have had 2 points there.
And that time Phelps just short-armed it just a touch. I think he was anticipating maybe a little more attention when he had the basketball 3 feet away from the rim. Johnson didn't come to him. That time Pinion pushing in the back. If you're Andy Kennedy, you have to be well pleased with how these first 10 minutes have played out.
Butter Johnson, 13 out of 15 this year at the charity stripe. He's off to his best start of the year. 9 points. He averages just under 10.
And UAB so far this game 5 for 10 from 3. And again, every three isn't going to go in, but if you're the Blazers, you've got to take the open ones. You've got to take even the ones where there seem to be a touch contested. You got to take them because the threat of you taking those shots, it opens up things for you offensively.
Big shot Butter with 10 points in this first half. And again, I'll point to the defense by the Blazers, clamping down their best effort so far at home.
UAB switching every ball screen, doing a great job of containing the dribble. That time Johnson able to stay in front without fouling, able to get the deflection. He wants to push off, but that's pretty good D right there from Butter Johnson.
You know, defense, Mo, and you know this as well as anybody, is contagious. And the buy-in effort.
Someone other than themselves in practice.
Coleman.
And That's great D right there from Arkansas State in transition, getting back, closing the rim off.
They miss again. You could have had a technical hanging on the rim. Wasn't called. Here comes UAB with numbers. The alley. Oh!
That time to start that transition break there, Tony rebounded that basketball around 4 white jerseys. He came out of the crowd with the basketball. That time Christian Coleman leading the break. We talk about his versatility offensively. And that's your 6'8", 6'9" power forward leading the break, throwing a lob to your point guard. And that time Tony not quite set, in pretty good position to take the charge, not quite set. But the previous play, the rebound he had, that will definitely show up in film this week.
Right off the inbounds pass, Rashad Marshall with his first basket. He's got 3. Under 9 remaining here in this first half. Landebord fouled from behind is, oh no, goaltending.
And that time UAB have not been able to score in the half court in the painted area. That time, weak side cut from Lindenborg. A little diagonal screen for him, frees him, gets him to the rim.
Another steal. Coleman. Dunk you.
He's dialed in. He's dialed in today. He's dialed in for sure.
UAB threatening to blow the Red Wolves off this court. This is a Red Wolves team that went into Memphis and upset Penny Hardaway and the Tigers.
And I think what we haven't seen from the Red Wolves so far, we haven't seen a lot of ball pressure. UAB came out and hit first. They attacked first, and they've attacked on the defensive end as well. Arkansas State has yet to do so. No real ball pressure, no real threat in the half court defensively. And UAB's been able to kind of take advantage of all of that.
In the last 6.5 minutes, UAB has outscored Arkansas State 23-3. Another miss.
We talked earlier about how Arkansas State, they're looking for threes, they're looking for layups. I understand the analytics, I understand all of the math that goes into all of those things. But the issue I have as a basketball peer is the best shot is an open shot you can make. So to only look for a certain type of shot, that, to me, that hinders you offensively. We've seen Arkansas State settle for contested threes when a pump fake and a 15-footer would have been just as good.
When they go in, you can go a long way as a team like Alabama did last year. They were red hot in the SEC tournament. They were red hot in the NCAAs. That follow won't count. There was a foul before that. And we should have pointed out, and Lyndon knows the story, Brian Hodson is a direct disciple of Nate Oates.
To the Sun Belt Conference final in the tournament, Nate Oates texted him after the game and said, "That's what we do." He knows he is an extension of the Nate Oates coaching tree. And I have to admit, Kurt, he made such a big name for himself at Alabama. He was a fantastic recruiter for the Crimson Tide under Notes. A lot of people were shocked that he left, but of course, he has head coaching dreams.
Yeah, I always wondered, Mo, you and I were talking about this, how do you know when do you make that move? I am sure that many other schools had called Brian Hodson's name before, and I'm sure that he looked over at Nate Oates and said, when? And Nate finally said, that's a good gig over there in Jonesboro.
Well, I think you have to go to a place that fits. Also, a place maybe where the culture will embody what, and represent what you feel should be the culture. And you have to have a place that's hungry for basketball, hungry for change. Nobody's making a head coaching change when they're going undefeated or when they're winning conference championships. It's typically after, a bit of a lull in play and production.
Tyron Moore just banged home a 3. Use that word again, engaged. Not only are the 5 guys engaged, but this is the first time that I remember, again, in 8 games, looking over at the UAB bench, and they're all up and pointing and applauding and doing what they can. As Aguero picks up a drive-by foul.
I would love to talk to that official to kind of see what he saw right there. I think, again, maybe anticipating contact that time as Aguero seemed to float right past Nelson. And Nelson, athletic enough around the rim to clutch and maneuver a little bit to possibly distort the vision of the official. But as you mentioned, everybody is engaged. It's very much contagious. When you're scoring points and you're playing hard and you see your teammates doing it, it's very, very easy to get on board. And plus, again, they've had a week off where they haven't played anyone. So they've only been playing against each other.
McGee turned down a three. Lendeborg put it on the floor, and it winds up in Aguero's hand, and Big Brad winds up drawing a foul. And meanwhile, let me point this out. Arkansas State had a tough battle at home against UT Arlington on Thursday night. So they just played a couple nights ago. UAB's been off for a solid week.
Right, and sometimes you're just chomping at the bit to get out there and compete against someone other than yourselves. And so today, I think this first half has been arguably the best half of the season, as you mentioned. So dialed in defensively, especially Christian Coleman. And Christian Coleman, I had a chance to speak with him before the game. And he told me, he said, I'm ready. He didn't mention that to me, so I thought to myself, okay, well, let's see if this is a Christian Coleman. After a week of practice, I know I've been to some UAB practices. I understand what Coach Kennedy requires. So I would imagine that every guy, just happened to be Christian Coleman, who I had a chance to speak to, every guy probably would have said the same thing. We're ready. I'm ready tonight.
UAB had 3 defenders on the ball.
They are active, very active that time. That time Moore doesn't like the call. But you got to think about this. Sometimes when you're playing poor defensively, you're not even in position to get called for a foul. The rotations tonight are crisp. They are on time. They're doing a great job of forcing the Red Wolves into long passes that gives the defense a chance to rotate over.
Taryn Todd, 62% free throw shooter.
And Todd has cooled off from his hot start. He attacked the first couple of minutes. He had 4 points within the first 2 minutes of the ball game.
Well, one thing, Arkansas State, they are getting UAB's A effort, whether they ask for it or not. And again, the Red Wolves went into Memphis and pulled off a historic win. That lob intended for Lendeborg, everything going UAB's way as they picked up a loose ball. The win against Memphis, Mo, was the highest ranked opponent win ever for Arkansas State. Memphis was 15th, and to go into that building, the pyramid, and pull out a win, and that's what these Red Wolves did. It is very difficult to go into Memphis and come out with a victory. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're in the Sun Belt or the American or the SEC. Memphis is a very, very difficult place to play on the road. That fan base is always in a frenzy. And so for them to go in there and essentially lead the entire game, only 38 seconds were they behind. They led the whole game. 13,000 fans were there. And in this first half, it's been all Blazers. And you finally get some ball movement from the Red Wolves. Here's Nelson banging away with Tony, and he scores using his length. But even that was not an easy shot. And I was just about to say, if you're Andy Kennedy, you're okay with that because that possession, you played defense as well as you could without fouling. Obviously, Tony's undersized there against Nelson on the block. Tyron Moore for 3. He's had the hot hand here in this first half. You get good defense applied, which led to a miss by Taryn Todd. 2-on-1 UAB. Too hard. Tony. And that's when you've got to convert there if you're Tony. That time had Moore running on the wing with him. Not able to get the layup to go. The adrenaline, Mo, and the electricity of the crowd. And Tony wanted the highlight play, like we said. The one on ESPN. A veteran like that, he knows better. Todd. Nelson wants 3, way off. 5 minutes remaining in the spectacular first half by UAB. Tyron Moore. Will be Arkansas State ball.
And 2 empty possessions for UAB there. Scoring opportunities right there in the paint.
2 you might need later on, right?
You may need them later on. Well, Arkansas State, to my disbelief, they have not ramped up the defensive pressure. Even in the half court, you would think typically once you start to get behind by a certain amount of points, that causes you to increase your pressure, even if you don't necessarily want to do it. Now, I know offensively they play up tempo and they shoot a lot of threes, so they're never out of any ball game. But they'll have to respond defensively here over the last 440 if they want to have a chance to make a run in the second half.
Look at the hustle by the Blazers. Lendeborg near side wing. Pop out. Vasquez for 3. In and out. By the way, Arkansas State, Mo, they're empty from outside. 0 for 8. And I say 8 because they average 30 attempts, and they're only at 8. This is a completely different game than they're used to. No foul and a complete block by Ezeguero. Butter.
And UAB 0 for 4 their last 4 shots. All good shots. The time Ezeguero elects not to guard the ball. Todd does not make him pay. Todd there with the cleanest look he'll get tonight.
If you're ahead, you can afford trading missed baskets, right?
Well,
but
in theory, yes. But when you play for Andy Kennedy, no. I don't suggest you trade him. I suggest if you're UAB, you've got to find a way to convert on one of these open attempts like this one.
Moore for 3. Oh, friendly bounce. He has 14 first half points. And the Blazers defense back to work, causing the offense. Moore trying to take the lid off this place. Timeout with 3:10 remaining. And I don't think the Blazers have had a game like this, a half like this so far this year.
Yeah. They average 30 attempts per game, 3 minutes left in this first half. They still have plenty of time to get up 5 3-point attempts because of the way they play. But 0 for 10 is tough to win, especially on the road. You go 0 for on the road from 3. It's extremely difficult.
See what the Red Wolves can do as they get a dunk. Over the last couple of minutes of this half, Joseph Pinion with his first basket.
And that time Pinion elected to drive the open lane. That time UAB, the first time tonight, slow on the rotation out of their half-court zone trap. Giving up the baseline jam for Pinion.
Jabari McGee almost traveled, lost it.
UAB doing a good job of getting back, switching all ball screens. Todd has not been able to effectively attack any of the UAB bigs off the dribble. Guards here switching as well.
Pinion went against Lendeborg. Lendeborg come out on top. Lendeborg gave up a 3, trying to find Ezeguero. Hey, by the way, my real good friend, broadcasting buddy of mine, Chris Harris, who grew up outside of Memphis, reminded me, and I'm mad at you, Mo.
Okay.
Memphis hasn't played in the Pyramid since 2003. It's now a Bass Pro Shop.
They're at the FedEx Forum every time.
Well, they play at the FedEx Forum.
Well, tell your friend I played at the Pyramid, man. I just wanted to go down memory lane for a second. Yeah, when you think of Memphis Tiger basketball, you think of the Pyramid. You don't think of the FedEx
I called games at the Pyramid for UAB. But they now, if you're playing a game there, you might have to look out for a fishing pole or a rake or a hunter's rifle or something like that, because it's a Bass Pro Shop. But
the best Bass Pro Shop, arguably, in the country.
That's not where the guy went in there, tried to find the. And he took off his clothes. Is that the one, Lincoln? Is it in Memphis?
Lots of stuff happens in Memphis.
Yeah, lots of stuff happens in Memphis. Well, they're yeah. We'll just leave it right there. Here it is, Aguero.
The final 3 minutes, UAB. The couple of possessions offensively, they've squandered scoring opportunities. I think Andy Kennedy, I see a bit of frustration on his face, not because of the way the game is played. They've done a great job so far, fantastic job defensively and offensively tonight. But the sloppy play, not completing plays that you have to be able to make when games are tight. That's probably what drives coaches the most mad.
Another steal for UAB. Lindenborg with the emphatic dunk.
He did a fantastic job of just being able to maintain the dribble, control that basketball there.
Almost, and it is a steal, but stolen back by Feltz. Back to Feltz. Here's a three for Todd. Yes, that's the first three made all game by Arkansas State. Todd with 9, and that was loose change with a minute plus left to go in the opening half. UAB working the clock now, Mo. Jabari got deflected. Back to Lindenborg. Oh, my goodness. Talk about loose change.
Sometimes when it's going your way, it's just going your way. That time, UAB, a for sure turnover, turns into 2 points.
That doesn't happen earlier in the year. Another miss from outside. Here's Yaxel with 30 seconds remaining, and UAB could just about milk out the clock. About a 2-second differential, and a good timeout taken by UAB and Butta Johnson. What a half so far for UAB. But I'm going to remind everybody.
At the half, or would you rather be down a few?
UAB is on a course right now to drop a hundo on the Red Wolves. And should have the capabilities of milking the clock to the end. Moore, who has been a superb player in the first half. Moore, long three, straight on. Did not get the friendly home roll that time, but a good shot.
And it went everywhere except down that time.
Except down, right. Right now, Arkansas State's got a chance.
You see UAB electing to extend their defense. Yeah, you don't want to give up anything quick and cheap here. Just because it's the end of the first half of a game you played really well in.
Todd spins, fires, glass. It would have counted, but it didn't go. But maybe the best first half UAB has played all season long. A 25-point lead of Alabama when they take on Troy with that guy right there. There's a highlighted player from the beginning. Now, Christian Coleman's numbers today, you got to go beyond the actual numbers to see his effectiveness. If you broke down play-by-play, he's really been one of your best players. He just doesn't have all the numbers to show for it. We open up right out of the gate with an Arkansas State turnover, something they cannot afford 6 seconds in.
And that time UAB not even really applying pressure, didn't get a chance to apply a ton of pressure right there. Sometimes when you're anticipating pressure, that causes you to react more quickly than you would originally, prefer or like to do. But again, you mentioned Christian Coleman. Stat sheet doesn't show his contribution so far this evening. He's done a great job of just being so active and disruptive defensively.
Lindenborg got a wing three off, rebounded by Joseph Pinion. Todd.
If you're Arkansas State, you need to come out and get something easy. We saw them open the game up with a couple of backdoor cuts and get some layups, and we got a layup there just from almost a non-existent UAB defense there.
Well, Coleman went for the steal.
Coleman gambles, and then no one rotates over, not the edge that Andy Kennedy is hoping to see in the second half.
Tyron Moore, 14 first half points. Jabari McGee had 5. He now has 7.
The time McGee got caught, wasn't as open as he originally thought, had to double clutch a little bit that time, but I'm still surprised by the lack of half-court ball pressure from Arkansas State.
Wide open, corner three will not go. Joseph Pinion was 23 made 3 baskets on the season. In fact, he's a 41% shooter from behind the arc, and he's come up empty today. 0 for 4. And Arkansas State's woes continue from outside. Mo Finley, they are 1 for 14. You know, it's funny. I wish we had cameras and audio equipment on us prior to the game. What did we talk about before the game? We talked about live and die by the three and the mid-range and all that kind of stuff there.
And I get it. I understand the math of it all. I understand, you know, all what the numbers suggest. And Pinion, a 41% shooter, he's a guy that you have to make those jump shots. But for the most part, Arkansas State tonight, they've had several open three-pointers that they just have not been able to connect on. And again, once you miss a couple, it just sort of gets in your mind a little bit. I don't care how great of a shooter you are. You miss a few, you have to figure out a way to get out of that. And sometimes getting out of that means getting an easier one. But you may not get an easier one. The easier one may just be another wide open three.
Lendeborg, shot clock at 5, takes the wing 2.
That time Tony electing to cut back door, as he often does, instead of staying in the corner for the three ball.
Follow wouldn't go.
And that's how you know it's just not your night right there. Nelson there missing a putback jam that he probably scores 10 out of 10 times.
Nice feed, McGee, Lendeborg 2.
Great find, great patience. Jackson Lindenborg there, not assuming a jump shot was going to take place. McGee able to float it right over the top for the easy assist.
Pinion got the elbow up, but chicken wing, no call.
And that's great D right there from McGee.
Todd.
Here's a switch. Arkansas State has not been able to take advantage of the switching defense by UAB tonight.
Pinion off balance, not close. Second chance, Nelson, yes. Much needed second chance basket. Isaiah Nelson with 11, averages just 5 per game. And I mentioned this earlier, this is
good. They were checking to make sure that there wasn't a shot clock violation. Ball did hit the rim. The reset was valid, so Nelson gets his 10th point.
I don't know why he doesn't start with his size and the things that he has done tonight. Just might not be into their flow, so to speak. Lob, see it. Coleman.
And that's the first time we've seen full court pressure from Arkansas State after the shot clock malfunction, and UAB comes right down and breaks it and gets an easy basket.
Nelson running the floor.
And that time, if you're Tony, I don't know if you have to close out on Nelson so aggressively. He's not a guy that's probably going to take a ton of threes. We see here McGee beat the pressure here, inside out. Lob to Christian Coleman. That's one way to keep teams from pressing you.
The foul on Tony was his second. Todd, remember, he is a lefty. You got to play him that way. Rebound, draws a foul. Kobe Julian.
And that's a pretty cheap foul there from Christian Coleman. That time just reaching in on Julian as he got the offensive rebound here, slaps at him.
Now, you've got a decision to make because, they gave it to McGee.
They gave it to McGee initially, Christian Coleman.
If it was Coleman, it would have been his third.
And when I saw Coleman slap at him, I thought, man, that's not a good foul.
Julian.
And here, if you're UAB, you have to still continue to attack and take care of it, but without getting sloppy, without getting careless.
Tony trying to feed Coleman. I think Coleman thought Tony was going to take it to the rim. He's got the legs to do it. How about that reverse by Kobe Julian, who now has 10. And now for the first time, Arkansas State with some pressure. Jabari McGee will be headed to the free throw line. First time we saw some backcourt pressure, and it took 24 minutes.
I mean, Nico Hodgson, he has his own philosophy, so I was very, very shocked about the lack of aggressiveness defensively. And this time, McGee's able to slide by with the backdoor cut and get to the foul line.
Prior to tonight, McGee, 67% free throw shooter. We always talk about you want your point guards mid-upper 70s.
And tonight, McGee's done a really good job of attacking with his jump shot. Not a guy that loves to take a ton of them, but he's taken a few tonight.
Julian launches a three. And then the follow dunk slammed home by an uncontested Isaiah Nelson.
That time Nelson does not miss the dunk. Great rebounding position there from the weak side for Nelson.
Tony with position. No foul. Good block by Nelson. Arkansas State on the move. And it'll be a foul on UAB. Looks like Tyron Moore will pick up a foul. And we'll take a timeout from Bartow Arena with 50.
Programs at the top of their conference. Arkansas State picked to win the Sun Belt this year, and they had the preseason player of the year for the Sun Belt in Kobe Julian. We've mentioned that. UAB, of course, picked to win the American after winning the conference tournament last season, bringing back Yaxel Lindeborg, who is also the American preseason player of the year. So these two teams, they know how to play. They know how to play hard. The team that beat Arkansas State last year in the Sun Belt final was JMU, who made the tournament. Then their coach left and went on to have his first year at Vanderbilt.
19-point lead for UAB. I took out my phone that time, Mo. Yeah, let's see, 51, 60. No, let's do the phone. Azuero, medium range, no.
See that possession there. We talked about McGee not being a guy who looks to take a ton of perimeter jump shots. That time, out of the timeout, Andy Kennedy runs the play for McGee to catch it on the wing and get to the 45-degree angle right there off the glass. McGee elected not to shoot it, and it ends up being in the hands of Azuero, a capable shooter, of course, but you'd rather have your point guard taking a 12 to 15-footer off the glass.
Azuero will pick up his second foul, non-shooting. Looking for his first made three, Joseph Pinion. 6 total points, 41% from behind the arc. Struggling today. Will they get Lindeborg? No, they won't. Instead, a block foul on Todd, which will be his third. Mo, if we look at that again, you help me out there. Non-foul, no foul, or the right foul?
I think that could have went either way that time.
Here.
Lindeborg very, very fortunate. This time Todd does a great job of anticipating Lindeborg attacking up the sideline there. You know what? I think that's a good call. Todd not quite there. He knew where Lindeborg was going, but he didn't quite get there in time. If you're Arkansas State, you've got to love what the full court press has done. It's slowed UAB down a little bit, causing them to think a little bit in the half court. UAB offensively, they've been a little stagnant this second half.
Azuero was trying to post up, nothing was there, and they will get Arkansas State now on a foul off the ball.
And that time, credit Jabari McGee for attacking Nelson's hip that time, not giving him a real chance to hedge as aggressively as he would have liked to. That time that point guard comes off that ball screen and goes right into that defender's hip. He doesn't have a chance to slide as quickly.
Lead was 25. Stolen. Here come the Red Wolves with a wide open dunk. Tarian Todd. Now UAB follows with a dunk as Azuero.
And if you're UAB, that's the answer you need. Every time Arkansas State so far this half seemingly starting to take a little momentum, go build a little momentum. UAB's able to come down and either draw a foul or get a basket. And here this time they're able to do both.
Beautiful bounce pass. Old school bounce pass. Tyron Moore.
Right over the top of Nelson that time. Nelson goes up, meets him at the rim. And Azuero able to flush over the top.
missing the free throw.
Maybe back to the 1-3-1 that gave the Red Wolves so much trouble in the first half.
Blazers are picking up a foul.
And to be honest, that's a foul there from Brother Johnson that you don't actually need. You have Nelson attacking on the baseline. You know you've got help rotating over. To me, there's a little bit of a difference if there's a guy that's going to attack baseline and possibly be able to create for someone else. This time, Nelson didn't really have a ton of space to operate. No real reason to even get close enough to him to get whistled for the foul.
That foul picked up by Isaiah Nelson is his third, by the way. UAB with numbers, 2-on-1. Alejandro Vasquez out of Queens, New York with the finish. And then a lob and an easy basket for Rashad Marshall.
It's a great job of Arkansas State continuing to push the basketball after the made basket. Caught UAB trying to set up the half-court trap. Blazers not able to get in position quick enough.
McGee attacks and scores. You like that, Mo?
Well, I love the fact that he's looking to attack the pressure defense from Arkansas State. He's done a good job. He's made some quality decisions so far the second half when attacking the press. And you don't want to get in a position where you're playing not to lose. You don't want to start taking too much time, playing it safe. You want to continue to attack. And McGee's done a really good job of that.
Pinion starting to warm up. His second made three. Well, you knew Arkansas State was going to make a run. They're a quality team. They got a great road win against Memphis. They played Alabama. And Liv had mentioned they are the preseason #1 club in the Sun Belt. So here's their run right now, 23-13 in the second half.
And 15 points is nothing to a team that averages 30 three-point attempts. Right now they're at 20. They've still got at least 10 more threes to get up, and we're 12:48 left to play. Plenty of time.
Now they've only made 3 of those 20. Vasquez, it's 2-on-3. Alejandro for 3 off balance. Yes!
And that time there's no foul. Alejandro's looking for the foul. He's very, very fortunate that was able to go down. That was not a great shot by Vasquez there.
Nelson answers. This is...
At that time, Vasquez gives up the rotation, the slow rotation for Vasquez there, allowed Nelson the easy jam.
And put them through 3 days of Navy SEALs training. This included 3-mile runs in the morning. They rolled and crawled through mud. They did all the physical aspects of it. And then at nighttime during those evening sessions is when they shared their story, got to know each other, shared what makes them the players they are. And overall, that really helped this team gel together and bond more.
A steal, Nelson. Follow goes in without coming down. Somewhere Bill Jones is watching this thing going, what did I tell you?
Well, he'd be right. I wonder did Coach Jones have any concerns about a team coming out up after the half playing so cautious. That time Lindenberg able to get it back, the putback. But I think UAB, the second half, they came out a little bit more relaxed, not the same fighting spirit we saw in the first half. And again, it's natural. You're winning by a ton.
I don't know if you could have 20 minutes like they already had. Meanwhile, right. Joseph Pinion hits. I mean, it was the best 20 minutes UAB has played all year. I mean, that's the bottom line. It was their A effort.
And they're going to need a quality 11 minutes here to close this thing out because Arkansas State, like as you mentioned, won't go away. The three-point shooting
keeps you in.
It keeps you in the games, and that's part of, what makes that so attractive of a style to play because you're never out of games no matter how far you're down because you're willing to take threes when other teams aren't.
Some bump and grind right there. What a finish that was. Kobe Julian bumping with Coleman. 25-point lead down to 11. And the UAB forced to take a timeout. From 25-point lead at half to 11 points.
Told he has the biggest personality in college basketball. Just in the hours I've spent with him courtside today. I agree with that statement, Kurt. When they were coming out of the locker room, who was the guy pumping up the team? It was Isaiah Nelson. When they went on that big run, they had to go to that timeout huddle. Who was pumping everyone up? Isaiah Nelson, so much that him and Coach Hodson, like their little chest bump there, they are both high-energy people that look like they feed incredibly off each other.
Vasquez off the second chance with a three-point miss. Now, Arkansas State hasn't been within single digits in quite a long time. They hit a three, they'll be there. This guy Pinion has gotten hot. They'll run the floor. 10 anxious minutes left if you're UAB. Stolen by Moore. Vasquez turns down a three. Coleman got fouled.
And if you're UAB,
if it's Nelson, it's 4.
You're very fortunate there because you came very, very dangerously close to not being able to cash in a 4-on-1 break. And that time on the previous possession, Pinion had an opportunity for a 2-point jump shot that he elected not to take, to continue to probe and dribble, and ended up turning the basketball over. And those are the things that drives me crazy about analytics. The guy turns down an open one. And of course, when it works out, it's great, but when you don't, when you turn it over, you don't get a chance to even take a shot. I'd rather you take a 2-point shot than no shot at all, Kurt.
In a women's game earlier today, one of the UAB Blazers turned down a layup. I mean, literally one more step, and she's got an open layup. Whips it out to a teammate, and the teammate hits a long-range three. Now, that's when it works out in the right way. It doesn't always work out that way, but I'm with you. I'm on that school with you. You know, you got a sense by watching them up close and personal that in the back of their mind, they're thinking, that's not what Coach wants. He doesn't want the mid-range. Todd flushes one home.
That time, Pinion, not really a screen, not really a go screen, just sort of tugged on Butter Johnson just a touch. Butter Johnson turned his head that time, and Todd took off for the rim.
Spin move. So all these shots that were falling in the first half, not falling in the second half for the Blazers. They've been outscored 34-19 as the Red Wolves trying to mount a comeback. Down by 25 at the half. Boom, no foul. And no basket either.
Larry Moore was in pretty good position that time. Julian lowered his shoulder just a touch. As we see here, Moore's in good position, takes the initial. The second one is the one your coach is teaching you to take. And that time, you know, I don't know about that. I think that's a charge, Kurt.
I do know about that. That's a charge, Mo. You might not know, but I know. Kobe Julian, 15 points.
We've seen a balanced scoring attack from the Red Wolves so far.
But we also have the advantage, by the way, of slow-mo
for sure,
and replay. Officials got to make that call on the dime.
Well, initially, you take the first bump. You're taught never to fall on the first bump. You take the second one. And that's exactly what Moore did. I thought it was a good take by him. Official, I don't even know if full speed is an excuse not to call that one.
That's a clean block out of bounds. UAB has not scored in over 2.5 minutes. Meanwhile, Arkansas State, 4 for the last 4. Perfect.
And we're seeing such a balanced scoring attack here. We see Julian with the block. Marshall with 9 points. Pinion 12. Todd 13. Julian 15. Nelson coming off the bench to get his first start and coming out and scoring the basketball. Arkansas State has hung around. They've created turnovers. Almost one right there as Marshall gets called for the foul.
Third on Rashad Marshall. Marshall last year, 19 games at Ole Miss.
It's essentially a 3-possession game. I can't wait to see Coach Jones somewhere in the city this week.
Yep. Buy him dessert wherever you're at. Not quite all the way back are the Red Wolves, but they've carved into a 25-point lead.
And that
deficit, I should say.
And that time, I think Todd missed an opportunity to pass that basketball inside. He was able to score either way, electing to attack as a wearer off the switching defense from UAB. UAB switched every single ball screen in the middle tonight. And that time, Todd able to attack it and score.
7-point lead for the Blazers. Butta says 3, no. Lendeborg was looking for his 11th rebound. He has a double-double. Open 3 goes in. You knew it would.
And that time, Todd able to dribble up without a Blazer within 5 feet of him. Walks into an easy 3-point jump shot.
A 2-possession game with 7:35 remaining. 8-0 run currently for the Red Wolves. Butta rises. Can't finish. Here come the Red Wolves. What a difference in halves. Running the floor with the reverse layup. And then Taryn Todd just looks at the front row of the fans. Holy cow, what a run by the Red Wolves. They've outscored the Blazers 42-19 here in this half. And the
timeout, and it goes back to how they came out of the locker room at halftime, Kurt. They were not slouching, they were not slumping, they were inspired. You see Isaiah dancing right now on the sideline. They're having fun. They are buying in to what Hodson told them at the half, that they are fully capable of winning this game and making a comeback, and that's what we're seeing happen.
The largest lead was 27. It was 25 at the break. Lendeborg in traffic draws a foul. Foul will go to Cameron Johnson, only his first.
I think it's a very smart possession from UAB that time. Coming out of the timeout, getting the ball into the hands of their best player, Yaxel Lendeborg. He's able to draw some attention, attack the rim, draw the contact, get to the line.
Lendeborg, 18 points to go with 11 rebounds. Make it 10 rebounds. Also 4 assists.
He leads UAB in every offensive category that people are keeping up with. Points, rebounds, and assists.
Well, the three-point shooting team, Arkansas State, is now down only by their specialty. UAB got a body. It was McGee on the foul.
And that time, this is the first time we've seen that aggressiveness from UAB in the 1-3-1 half-court trap. They haven't had a chance to get in it a ton in the second half, but right here, you see Coleman and McGee out there extending the pressure. And it's a bit of a grab. Maybe that's a call you don't expect to get called against you at home, but that's a clear foul, clear contact.
Slow-mo and replay told me that was a foul. It was Rashad Marshall.
I've never seen a referee change his mind. You see players all the time going to the officials and pleading their case. They're not going to change their minds. And as you mentioned, the correct call.
So Lendeborg picks up his 11th rebound. He has a double-double, but this one is far from sealed. A 27-point lead, 25 and a half by UAB.
And Yaxel Lendeborg has to touch this basketball.
He does. Mid-range is there. Follow up by Tony. Here's Tyron Moore. 3-ball. He was a scorer at Georgia Southern. Here comes Arkansas State. They answer with a 3.
And this half, Arkansas State has taken the lid off the rim from three-point land, 4 of 9 for the half.
Pair of threes. So back to a 2-point game. Lendeborg wants a touch inside.
And that time UAB not able to take advantage of the undersized Todd on Lendeborg.
Kick out. Tony for 3, steps into it, no good. And here comes Arkansas State, 2 for a tie, 3 for the lead. Julian all the way, and he ties the game up. Oh my, 27 points down at one point. Look at that scoreboard.
And not a lot of resistance there in transition from UAB. If you're the Blazers, again, you have to figure out a way to get this ball into the hands of Yaxel Lindenborg in a position where he can score.
Coleman missed from 12 feet out. Arkansas State back in front. Todd with 22. Look at that Arkansas State Red Wolves bench. Team that went into Memphis and won. Jabari McGee has it whacked out of bounds. Off of the Red Wolves.
And that time, McGee getting very, very lucky, because it appeared he also got away with a travel. At that time, Blazers able to retain possession here. We take another quick glance. 1, 2, dragging that back foot. That time he loses it and maybe deflected just a little bit. They're off of Julian.
For the lead. Saved, and a good save there by Marshall.
If you're Arkansas State, you want to keep the pressure on here, keep attacking, do not slow down. You will see a ball screen and a switch. And straight post up Christian Coleman here against Marshall.
Blocked. Christian Coleman on the D.
And that time I thought Todd was calling for Marshall to come to a ball screen for him. He elected to throw the ball inside to Marshall there, figuring Marshall had the advantage over Coleman. Coleman able to use his length. Great interior defense from Christian Coleman there, and Yaxel Lindenborg wisely keeping his hands off the loose ball.
Tale of two halves. Red Wolves by 2. 4 minutes remaining. Lindenborg trying to fight for position, gets fouled. He wanted an and one opportunity.
Well, I think if you're Yaxel Lindenborg, you're the leading assist guy, leading scorer. You have to touch it every time over the final 4 minutes.
With less than 4 minutes remaining.
In the second half, 5 of 10 from 3. They've also out-rebounded UAB this half. They hold the game rebounding lead 41-35. You remember UAB up by a few boards at the half.
And by the way, I had a non-speaking part in the 1935 film adaptation of Tale of Two Cities, in case you guys were wondering. I was just an extra. Lindenborg, smooth at the line. We're tied up, but the Red Wolves have the basketball. UAB looking to press.
And Blazers electing to go man-to-man as opposed to their 1-3-1 half-court trap that we are accustomed to seeing after free throw makes.
Oh, Julian just lost everybody and finishes. He got by Vasquez in a hurry.
That time, a little bit of a miscommunication from Lindenborg and Vasquez. They've been switching high ball screens all evening long. That time, someone wasn't quite sure what the rule was.
Lindenborg gets position, fires it up, no good. A rebound, Red Wolves.
Tom Nelson doing a good job of not fouling, staying vertical, just forcing Lindenborg into a tough shot and into heavy traffic. You see another ball screen here. And now Mark inside. They elect not to throw it inside with Johnson on him. This is going to be tied one-on-one.
Against Lindenborg. Lindenborg says rejection. Nelson. That would have counted. There was 3 seconds left to go on the shot clock. UAB gets a stop, down by 2.
I think if you're UAB, you got to play with a little more pace here, a little more urgency in your half-court execution here.
Vasquez wanted to draw contact. Coleman with the loose ball. Butta from the logo. No. Hit the rim. Let me see. It looks like the referees, the officials, want to take a look at it.
I did not see it hit the rim at all. I was surprised Christian Coleman didn't rebound that basketball. I thought he was taking a glance at the shot clock on the opposite.
By 27 points in the first half. almost unthinkable. And by the way, they've gotten to 80 points now. It's one of their key marks for them.
Now back to the 1-3-1 for at least one pass.
Julian's got the height advantage. Tyron Moore. And a rebound by Isaiah Nelson, a big second chance with under 2 minutes left to go.
And that time everything happened correctly for UAB except the rebound.
Todd. Coleman with the rebound off the missed Todd shot.
And I think if you're UAB, you have to push the basketball here a little bit. You can't walk it up the court.
Tyron Moore, 17 points. Vasquez, a fake, a shot, and a bucket for the tie.
Great decision by A.J. Vasquez. Not taking a challenge three-pointer. Now you're back to your 1-3-1. See if the Blazers can get a turnover here. You don't want to leave the weak side open.
You also got a guard against that three. Arkansas State looking to fire it up. Todd for three, and swish. Red Wolves by 3.
And if you're UAB, you can't rush, but you can't take all the entire clock. You've got to play with a little more pace here.
You don't need 3. You need points. More. 2. Pushed it in with 33 seconds left to go.
But now you're in a position where you're not really able to play. I mean, you're going to get it back with about 5 seconds if you're able to get a stop. That's why it's so important that UAB played faster earlier, because now if you're not going to take a 3 anyway, you're going to try to get something going to the rim, play quicker, you have a chance to extend the game. Now, maybe not so much.
Taryn Todd and Kobe Julian, 6'4", 6'6". Their quickness with the ball, their ability to go to the rim, very impressive.
Todd did a really good job today of playing within himself, even as the leading scorer here on the road. I don't know that he pressured, I don't know that he took any type of, rush shots or anything of that magnitude. He did a great job of playing within himself. Not a great free throw shooter, but he's able to come up and calmly sink the first one there.
Well, big difference here. A 2 would tie it, a 3 would force UAB to go from the perimeter. Todd, 3 off to the left side. So 2 for the tie, 3 for the win.
And you've got to go quickly here.
Look for big shot Butter. Is he on the floor? Yes. Vasquez. Lendenborg slams it home. Tied with 5 seconds left to go. Todd gets fouled on his way to the rim. Or did they call a timeout? I think Hodson called timeout from the side.
And he saved UAB there because it was a clear Tony, an excellent rebounder from the guard position. I'd almost like to see Tony on Todd, though. I think Tony gives Todd a little bit of a different look.
Phelps would do the inbounding. Down to 3, 2, contested, no good, overtime at Bartow Arena.
And that's a great possession there from UAB defensively. Christian Coleman and Jackson Lindenborg forcing Julian into a tough. Only 3 in the second half here. UAB putting together their best defensive possession of the second half in that last 4.8 seconds here. Foul trouble, one thing to check out for the overtime. Arkansas State, a couple of key guys with 3 fouls. Also Nelson with 4. UAB, only Butter Johnson has 3.
Taryn Todd. Marshall at the top. UAB in a man-to-man. Pinion had a couple of 3s in the second half. Todd takes a 3. That's going to be off. Rebound UAB. And ahead of the pack, Lendenborg can't find it. Coleman picks it up. Coleman drives, shoots, no. And the rebound taken by Marshall. Well, both teams a little nervous there on that first possession.
Yeah, I think Christian Coleman just kind of got caught in between. Should I shoot it? Should I not turn it over? What should I do? You know, after almost turning it over, just kind of rest a little bit.
So almost a minute gone by. Todd kick out. Nelson strong drive, pops in and out. Pinion. Julian, the three from the wing, got it.
And that time a loose ball. UAB not able to run it down. Julian able to come up with an open three-point opportunity.
Shot clock winding down no less. Coleman finishes strong.
And that's a much better decision there from Christian Coleman. A.J. Vasquez has done a really good job late this half of finding cutting teammates after his dribble penetration. I think maybe Nelson may be bleeding. Catch up defensively. Well, with the guys here that are putting the ball on the floor that are looking to attack off the dribble, you know, he's not matched up with those guys. He's typically off the ball a little bit. But his decision-making so far in this half has been terrific.
Todd now with 26 points, averages 14. Taron Todd. He'll step back. This time he lobs it. That'll draw a foul. So Marshall fairly quiet in that first half. Big offensive board.
At that time, I thought Christian Coleman did a great job initially of contesting that shot. Unfortunately for the Blazers, not able to come up with the rebound, and Coleman picks up his third foul.
Marshall will get two. He's a 63% free throw shooter. Now with 11 points, Rashad Marshall from Blytheville, Arkansas, only a sophomore. Big body guy, and he knocks down two. Two big ones. Three ball would tie it with 3 minutes left to go. McGee off his foot. That's off the foot of McGee.
And that's unfortunate there. Even if he was able to retain his dribble, no real estate available for him to even operate there. You know, UAB only turned the basketball over 3 times in the first half. And so far, second half, they've tripled that.
We knew going in this would be one of the best mid-major matchups of the year, but we didn't know how this game would translate. One team blowing the other team out and the other team coming right back in the second half.
Yeah, well, maybe these 5 minutes are the actual game. The first two were just sort of a preview. Arkansas State got blown out in the first half. UAB got blown out in the second half. So this is the actual game here.
Todd with 5, spins. Off balance. UAB's got it. McGee was looking up. Coleman had not created space. The Arkansas State bench is all standing. Moore. No foul from behind. That's clean. Back to the Wolves. The Red Wolves up by 3 with possession under 2 minutes.
And I think if Moore had came off that ball screen action looking to score and looking to shoot right away, maybe he would have had a cleaner look.
Todd attacks off the glass.
Todd, he has been extremely patient on those switches up top with UAB bigs guarding him. That time able to get to the painted area and kiss it off the glass with the left hand.
Andy Kennedy for
in this overtime that were considered clean looks.
outscored 7-2 in the OT. Minute and a half. Contact, down goes Lindeborg, no foul. Tyron Moore, fake, shot, got it, 3. They're going to review it and see if it's a 3 or a 2.
And out of a timeout, that's a tough make there.
He took him to the bench.
At some point, Arkansas State is going to put UAB in a middle ball screen unless they go 1-3-1, which it looks as if the Blazers are going to do. Tony on the backside of that 1-3-1, one of the best defenders for UAB. He'll have the job of making sure the baseline, no one gets a clean look.
I'd put 7 guys on Todd if it's possible. Wide open underneath, and then the ball comes out right near the bench. Arkansas State with a second chance now. A minute remaining. They pick up a huge offensive rebound.
That time Nelson, different number, same game.
Same game, different. Yeah, very nice. Todd at 5, launches the 3, got it! A killer. He has just tied his career high with 31 points.
If you're UAB, you don't have to get a 3 here, but you have to go quickly.
But that's coming up short. And Arkansas State, UAB, who's got it? One ref says one way, and then it looks like they're going to take a look at this one. Remarkable comeback. They trailed by 27 points in the first half. At the break, they were down by 25. And even the first few minutes, they didn't dominate the second half.
No.
About 4 minutes in. And UAB needs a miracle finish.
Well, you have to find a way here to extend the basketball game. You go for a quick steal here. If you don't get it, foul immediately.
Actually 3 out of 4, which is above his season average at the line. Came in at 62%. He's 75% today. 28.6. Red Wolves by 5. In the hands of Todd.
Got to foul somebody.
Marshall got fouled. Marshall picked up a huge offensive rebound here in the overtime.
Been a quiet 12 points. Such a balanced scoring attack. When you score 94 points, everybody's getting in on the action. But today, Marshall, 12 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 13 rebounds. And he's knocking in his free throws there.
It's a 2-possession game right now, 21.9 in the first overtime. And it would take a miracle to get to the second overtime if you're the Blazers. Arkansas State, that's a 3-possession lead. They have salted this thing away after down by 27. And now they get one more rebound. And you mentioned the rebounds. We talked about it early. They were out-rebounded in the first half, but not in the second half. They have 52 total rebounds.
Arkansas State just ramped up their activity, attacking the glass with multiple players getting rebounds. You've got a guy coming off the bench getting 13 rebounds, 14 rebounds in his first start, Nelson. And then you have everybody else chipping in 6, 5. You know, Todd's going to rebound the ball well for his position. 52 boards is a lot of boards there. And they just limited UAB's opportunities.
Isaiah Nelson.
You think about it, only 79 shot attempts for Arkansas State. UAB only took 74.
Isaiah Nelson with 2 free throws. Largest blown lead in college hoops since 2018. And that is all she wrote. And you just see the demeanor of that UAB bench. Shocked and disappointed. In fact, a few of those guys are headed early into the locker room.